Our guest today is Titir, a psychotherapist who helps people heal at the intersection of trauma, queerness, relationships, and body wisdom. Her work is deeply relational, queer affirming, and trauma informed, supporting those navigating sexual trauma, intimacy challenges, and identity exploration. She creates a space where you don't have to perform or fix yourself. You get to be fully seen. So excited to have you on board, Titir. Welcome to Book My Therapy.
Thank you, Nia. Thank you for having me, and that was a wonderful introduction.
Most welcome. So, Titir, I have a few questions for you. The first one is
Mm-hmm.
about starting therapy with you. What do
Mm-hmm.
first few sessions feel like? What can your clients have expectations around pace, boundaries, and all the stories that they share?
Yes. So with me, the first few sessions are much softer than what people expect. It's not about you coming in and rushing to tell an entire story in one sitting. There is no pressure to open everything at once. I am more interested why you are coming here and what's happening with you right now. How have you been feeling lately? What made you reach to this point in your life where you want therapy? And we definitely move at your nervous system pace, not like my nervous system. My nervous system can be like, oh, this, that, but how much you are comfortable. And you have usually seen, Neha, many clients come and tell everything at a go, right? That happened in my childhood, this happened, that happened. And first session become extremely intense, I have seen, and they have a bad notion that, oh my God, in therapy, I felt this. But for me, I tell my set proper boundaries with them that how much we both are transparent to each other about things and how I will help them to understand their thinking patterns, right? If something feels too much for them, they can tell me that. Let's say if I have said something that has made them feel angry, they can come and say that to me. That space is there. Like it's a very safe, healthy, non-judgmental space. And boundaries are very clear and steady because therapy is a protected space, right? It is not about pushing, it's about welcoming them. And like you have beautifully said in the introduction, that I welcome them, their messy them, their angry them, their sad, every part of them is welcome. So I don't rush into them. So that's how first sessions start gradually, and over time, see, trust takes time to build. And then their stories unfolds and we explore the patterns and everything works like that.
So, out of curiosity, how does a typical
Mm.
day look like for you?
My typical day is balance and imbalance at times. It's a balance between people inner world, and I'm taking care of their inner world, and sometimes I'm taking care of my inner world too. So first, usually morning, I start with in the sessions listening to their issues, being present with them, with their pain, with their emotions, with their growth, witnessing them and holding them at the same time. And in between sessions, I take some space for myself consciously. I either walk, or I take slow deep breaths with me, or I sit and listen music. I ground myself, which is very, very important for me. Grounding, otherwise I won't be able to be present in my next client session, right? I also take some time in the evening for reading because our field is constantly growing and we have to be updated, right? So reading, sometimes creating content, a way of staying connected to this field and with myself. So just not being a therapist, I also take space. I go to dance class. I enjoy dancing. So there are other aspects of me. I love doing yoga. So at mornings I work out, and if mornings I don't get the time, my evenings I do some stretching for my body because we are holding so much of their emotions, their pain. We also need to learn to let go, and that is why body work is important.
Is about inner child, and this word has been going around for quite some time now. In your
Mm,
opinion and experience, what
mm.
is the concept of inner child? And for somebody who's listening this for the first time, how would you explain it to them?
So the inner child is part of you that carries all of your emotional experiences early, right? So even though you have grown older physically, those emotional parts doesn't disappear. They stay inside of you, right? Your inner child is a part that holds your first feelings of love, of fear, of abandonment, joy, shame, belongingness, everything. Now, what happens sometimes in your adult life, even though those, if you get a rejection, if you have a conflict, if you have a breakup, most of the time we manifest those coping mechanisms into our adulthood, though it doesn't work out right now, right? It is just that we are carrying the younger wounds that is still activated right now. Maybe how I acted in my first breakup, I'm still acting like that in my third breakup when I'm an adult, right? Like I acted being in denial and I'm doing the same. I am not talking about it. I'm not processing about it, right? So my inner child is still not healed. It is carrying those older versions of me and not letting me update, right? So most of the time people think inner child work means blaming the parents because we are doing our inner work, but it is not just that. It is about understanding who you are with much more compassion, like relearning the shame that we are carrying since childhood. If somebody told me, let's say, that you know what, Titir, you have a fat lips. And I am carrying that shame throughout my adulthood also. Now, how will I do my inner child work? Is to start being kind and accept. I am born with this lips. I cannot change it. And this shame is an external voice that I've internalized within myself. Somebody else has said your fat is lips. Now I have starting, the problem is with me. This is my lips. I have fat lips. People will not accept me. Right? So it is learning to give yourself the safety, the validation, the care that you may not have received back then.
Interesting. So, at that point, when you
Hmm.
are validating and showing compassion to yourself, would you be in a position where you are thinking as if you need to justify to the person who was trying to bully you or shame you? Or would you do it for yourself? And what is the difference if it exists at all?
Both sides depends on client to client, right? Somebody wants to take a revenge, somebody wants to prove somebody wrong. That also happens. Let's say I was bullied throughout my childhood for my weight, and then I am joined gym to take that revenge and prove at you. That is there. But with this also, I'm caring for myself, right? At the same time, right? The self-care is coming. It's how you show, because while growing up, we might have received love. It's not that we haven't. Our parents have given love in whatever way they wanted to give us. But still, we are carrying a lot of shame, which is normalized talking in Indian households or Asian households, right? Oh, that girl is fat. Oh, don't talk to that. There is a lot of comparison while growing up. And so, even though now we don't have that comparison around us, those narratives we are holding inside our head, and we are not able to let go of those narratives because that is conditioned inside us. Okay, I remember when I was in college, I used to think I'm fat. But now that I've put on weight, let's say I have thyroid issues and I'm finding difficult, and I am carrying out all the outfits with double the weight that I am, and I am more confident now, which I wasn't back in college. And though I was 20 kilos, let's say, less than what I was, so that time still I had the shame and I thought I was not enough. But right now, even though I have more weight, but I think I am enough because I have relearned to let go of the shame. I cannot carry the shame what other people are telling me constantly. Their narrative cannot be my narrative. I have sat with my inner child. I have told my inner child that it's okay. You are giving your best and it's okay for what you're doing. And you don't have to constantly prove to somebody. You are you, and that is enough.
Yeah. How beautiful, right?
Hmm.
So, does this, so referring back to the context of where you were telling, giving an example
Hmm.
of if I have behaved a certain way for after my first breakup, which is living in denial, that is the
Hmm.
same reaction I would carry for second or third breakup, correct?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that means a lot of work needs to be done in between this.
Yes.
And what I can understand from your answers is that now that you feel more confident and more enough compared to your college, regardless of how you, what you
Yes.
weigh, what the weighing scale tells you. So, Linking back this to the inner child, does at what point in our lives can this inner
Hmm.
child be healed, or does it continue to exist regardless of the age we are?
Yes, it continue to exist. Like I told you, inner child is a part of you that carries your earliest emotional experience. Be happy, be joy. And you can heal at any point of time. Let's say I'm in college, I can still carry certain shame that I got in school, right? And again, at an adulthood, also, I can do something that I got in college. At my old age, also, I can do something that happened at work. Always, our inner child always exists. I feel I tell my clients to name something to their inner child, as a part of, as a personality that, that is there inside of us. So when you talk to them, name and talk to it. And something that I always say is hug that part of your inner child, which did not get, which wanted to be felt. And I remember you saying this, you came to that field out of pain and passion both. It goes same for me. Studying psychology was my trauma response because I felt nobody was there with me in certain point of time. I did not have a school counselor and I had to go through all by myself. And I tried to heal in my own ways, but that worked as much as it could be and it didn't. But me studying and me going to tons of therapy sessions have, that's how I have worked on my inner child too.
That's nice to know.
Mhm.
So while I was reading about your bio, I also found a very interesting take on
Hmm.
body work and trauma. So,
Hmm.
how would you define trauma?
So, trauma is not just the event that has happened, it is what happens inside your body, inside your nervous system, right? And it happened when you did not have enough support system around you to help you, to assist you, right? It's when your body had to hold your fears, your helplessness, your overwhelming, your pain, and let's say you didn't have anybody to reach out to or go through to share with someone, right? So those experiences don't just live in our memory, they stay in our body. Like let's say, for example, for PTSD, right? Whenever the shoulders hear the sound of a gun or a loud sound, they still get that fear. I'm just telling. That is trauma. The sound of the guns can be related to a loud, associated with a loud sound. Same thing for women, we go through so much of trauma in our own lives. I'm talking about a very difficult thing, sexual trauma. So even something before happens only, we start getting that fear because it associates with our past, right? So it is what happens in the body and it associates with the body. It's in your reactions, it's in your triggers, it's in your sense of safety in the world, right? Trauma is really about a nervous system that has adapted to how to survive in that particular ecosystem.
So, the next one is about sexual trauma. For survivors, what does it really mean to reclaim your body and pleasure, and how can that process begin in a way that feels gentle and safe?
See, reclaiming your body is not about forcing yourself to feel pleasure or desire, right? Reclaiming means slowly gaining back your authenticity with yourself, authenticity in your relationship, right? It's about having agency and autonomy over your choices and over your body, right? You are slowly building a sense that your body belongs to you. It doesn't belong to anyone else or not any event or not any particular trauma, that you can say yes when you want to, that you can say no when you want to, you can definitely change your mind, right? So your body is yours. It's nobody to claim. Only you can claim your body. Now, often healing begins with something very simple, very natural. When I work with client, I start with feeling any emotion that they feel. Most of the time, you know what happens, Neha? People dissociate from their body post trauma, right? They feel numb. Numbness is also a feeling. It's also an emotion, but they shut down. But that is also an emotion they are doing to cope with that experience or anything similar that's happening, right? Pleasure, desire, all of this comes later. But first is to feel safe. And sometimes we do need an anchor to hold something. So first, I start by building a protective or a good support system. Maybe first it starts with your body and then with any other close person that you have. Then it becomes more easier. And then slowly, focusing on the parts that carry shame, that carries the trauma, and slowly unlearning the shame, parts by parts, liking certain part of your body, connecting with your body. For example, I had a client who had body issues and didn't like the torso area, right? And many clients, female, have come up with chest, chest area because a lot of eve teasing, sexual trauma or abuse they have gone through, or they have been shamed for having bigger breast, right? And I have sat and walked to make them comfortable is just by touching the chest and slowly being aligned with it, being attuned with the chest. Simple as that. To be comfortable, as much as discomfort it feels, I am there to hold them, as in virtually also or physically, as in there, to be there, to witness and to hold them that it's okay to start being comfortable, to associate newer emotions. I had older emotions associated that it gives me fear or shame, right? Now I start building newer associations where they start feeling comfortable with this area. They talk, I make them talk to this particular body part. I make them write letters to them. I make them start feeling seen, this body part for what it is. So yeah, there is no rush. And again, the whole process depends on the my clients at client space, at their consent and readiness. If they're not ready, I don't do. Only when they feel ready, I sit with them, I help them connect to their body parts, which they have dissociated long time ago.
Must be so hard, right? And a lot of
Yes,
work. Yeah.
yes, it is a lot of work, but definitely it feels really good when I see them. I remember a client coming and telling me, Neha, she used to hate her fingers. Now, how can, yes, fingers, right? So she told me, Titin, my fingers are long and, you know, my fingers are long and I don't like it. People have told me it looks like, not a women's hand, it looks like man. I was like, what? But then I told her, these hands have protected you from everything. Hands have been there. So I slowly made her touch the hands, stay, hold, be there, and worked on slowly. Started with hands, two other body parts also where there was so much of shame attached. And now she has started admiring her body and feels good about it. And I feel so good. And she tells me, Titir, you know what? That day I looked at my picture and I loved it. Titir, I wore ethnic and I felt so good in my body. And these are the compliments that I live for when, they hated their body parts so much to liking, to loving, to appreciating them. So it's a journey, if I would say, where I which I get to see them, changing and evolving gradually.
Yeah. You just said that so beautifully because I've been thinking about all of these things as to how social media impacts us and constantly makes us insecure of what we have and not
Yes,
appreciating and being father. To add to it, the trauma and the hate we have towards our body and the shame. From that point to come to a point where your clients are like, wow, I really appreciate what I have and I celebrate
yes,
me. Beautiful,
yes. Yep,
powerful.
yep. Yes, very powerful. And it makes me powerful. I think we learn a lot from our clients also. The amount of resilience they hold, the amount of willingness and the effort they put to come in, to show up in the sessions, and to constantly work, even though it is uncomfortable. Healing is not gonna be a very straight line, it is linear, like we say, right? And to heal, we actually have to go to the wounded parts.
Yeah.
Like if you have a physical wound also, I need to put Dettol and it will burn before it heals, right? Same. And healing doesn't mean, many clients think that healing means erasing my wounds.
Hmm.
No, you, the wounds might stay, but you start associating other emotions also. You start experiencing joy, pleasure, desire, all the other things at the same time when you felt unsafe. Now you're slowly started feeling safe in your body.
Mm, so good. So, the next is about queer and marginalized folks, so who have internalized
Mm,
shame about their identity
mm.
or desires. So, what are some first steps to cultivate self-compassion and authenticity?
See, the first step is understanding that shame was never yours to begin with. Okay. It was learned. It came from external, it came from society. Like I told before also, that it came from environments that did not have the capacity to understand you or affirm you. Right. And healing begins with separating your identity from the survival strategies that you had to develop. Now, you have to find, or it involves spaces where you feel seen, you feel heard, right? Where you don't have to explain your existence. Especially for queer people, it's so difficult. They have to constantly justify where they're coming from, what they are carrying, right? And we have to show with much more self-compassion because it grows slowly. It takes time for them because they have been carrying that shame for years. And there are so many queer that are closeted, right? Because they are not safe in that external environment. They know that they don't, if they come out, their parents are not going to accept, the society is not going to accept. Again, like we start first by building safety system, safety in themselves first, slowly, and understanding how the outer system is going to be, how the external system is going to be, right? Not forcing yourself to feel confident. Again, through accepted, first is accepting yourself. First, we work on that. And then slowly we see how to reach out to other communities where they can be accepted. And then once that confidence comes in, we slowly work in through it. But shame is something I think where us, anybody, we all have. And we have so much shame attached to our body. I can't even imagine to say from our head to our toe. Today, you will see next day a client coming and telling, Titir, I hate my white hairs. Okay. Titir, I hate my thin eyebrows. It just starts with so many things. Somebody hates their body, somebody hates their voice, and they have so much shame. The more you remove shame from your body, the more open you become. If you see tightness in certain body parts, you will understand there's a lot of stress and shame attached to it, those parts. And the more you do body work, you slowly, yoga is also a very important body work, which helps in releasing your tightness and it increases flexibility and also helps in removing a lot of shame that we carry.
So, in your experience and in your dealing with clients, have you ever come across a person who is not ashamed of how they look? Because what I'm thinking is polarized, to be honest,
Hmm.
because of the conditioning. There would be so many people, like you said, like from the head to toe, we have something wrong. Any given
Hmm.
part, at any given point.
Yes. Yes.
So, is the opposite also true? Do people have a lot of confidence in the way they look?
Very rare. Again, if the confidence has come, it is out of breaking that shame that they have been carrying. I don't think in Asian or Indian households, shame is a very common thing. You good boy, bad boy. Like, that's how it starts, right? No, this is bad. You did a bad thing. It starts with small, small things and then it goes on to bigger. First that. Second is constant comparison. Sharma ji ka bete ko dekho. Sharma ji ke beti ko dekho. And, we have all seen in movies and we have heard that, right? And comparing ourselves with that. So even if somebody has come, they have unlearned those ways and narratives, and they have come to a point that they have accepted themselves. Okay, but very rare that somebody has come with zero shame. I don't think I can't recall of anybody like that. If
Wow.
I dig deeper, I will get some more where some more other parts while growing up, they might have been bullied or made fun of. Even they look perfect. Even if I have seen the beautifulest of beautiful women have come and told me, Titir, I'm not good enough. And I'm like, wow, where is this coming from? In my eyes, everybody is beautiful, but still, some or one aspect they have been compared or shamed in their life for not being good enough or doing better.
Yeah.
Have you ever met anybody in your life, forget clients, who have had zero shame and, love themselves unapologetically?
From a superficial level, yes. I'm referring to
Yes, super
narcissist.
hooper. Yeah, I get it, but in true sense, it's very difficult to find.
Mm.
We carry our ancestors, we carry a lot of intergenerational trauma, and I think our parents did the best they could do with whatever resources they had. And to be honest, if you see, our parents didn't have much resources back then. Neither their parents do. The awareness, the amount of resources that we have now, we are able to work on things because we have the luxury. We are privileged also. We have the money. And people are talking about it. People are more researching about it. Our back then, our parents did not have that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Completely different time. Mm.
Yeah, they did the best, and to be honest, they were surviving technically. They had to earn money, there were very less employment. Somehow they had to get a job, and all they focused was building a family. To be honest, most of middle class, Indian households, that is what they focused on. They never thought of themselves. Ki, okay, I will buy this thing for myself, which we do, right? When we earn money, we thought, okay, I'll buy this for myself. They never thought, they thought about the children or about, sustaining the family, how to do this, do that. And back then, money was also not great, right? It was very
Mm.
less. So, yes, sometimes as much as we get angry on them, I do understand where they are coming from. And I do forgive them also. I think it's easier rather than carrying the grudge. I mean, I don't, if somebody has done something wrong, you don't need to talk to your parents. You can not forgive them also. It's your choice. But constantly blaming them and I am not working on myself, I think that is also a problem. I also need to work on myself. And they are at the age where they cannot work on themselves, let's say. Not everybody is open. The more you grow older, you become rigid and choosy about your choices, right? Some parents are open up. To be honest, I will say post-COVID, our parents have really uh, changed a lot. The way now they are using phones and everything, right? They have also, for their generation, also it's difficult with technology. Everything is online these days for them, and they have coped
Yeah.
quite good, if I would say. And our grandparents also, I see them using touch phone, and I'm like, wow. So I think they have done their best at whatever resources they have got at whichever time.
Yeah. That's right. So
Mm.
when you speak about trauma, right? So you also said about intergenerational trauma. So can you highlight on that what it is?
Okay. Intergenerational trauma is something which trauma that I have been carrying from my ancestors. For example, this Saas Bahu I'm telling. Okay. Now, Saas saw that when Saas was Bahu, okay, their SARS told ki you are not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do this work. You cannot say, anything back at elders. You need to keep your ghungat on, right? And that is what has carried. Now, same thing what that Bahu becomes a SARS is doing with the coming Bahu. Because this SARS is carrying that trauma of not being able to express, not being able to open up, not being able to have their own space or voice, let's say, or opinion. I'm just giving an example here. Now, the same Sahas is doing the same thing when his son's wife comes home,
Mm.
right? The same trauma is passing on. Now, let's say I am becoming a Sahas today. I felt really hurtful when these things happen with me. And I can choose not to do with my current, Bahu, for example, because I have learned that whatever happened, that was not okay. But sometimes it is conditioned so much inside our brain, it is so much inherent inside that we are not able to differentiate it. And we are carrying those trauma wounds and we are still inflicting onto other people unknowingly, knowingly. Sometimes I have seen people feel jealous, like Sas is feeling jealous that my bahu has so much of money, getting space, doing whatever. I thought did not get my Sas did not give me that space to me. So why will I give her? She has to listen to me, whatever I say. Now, that is a small aspect what I said about intergenerational trauma, how it is passed on to. Let's say fear is something that is passed on to. Um, let's say your father had an accident, was okay, but uske baad se has stopped driving or riding any vehicles, right? Now, what he instills the same fear to his son also. Ki no, don't drive. You take a public transport. Same thing that person is carrying since childhood. No. What if accidents happen? I won't do it. And then the same thing is inflicted on the next generation. Now, therapy is a space where the intergenerational trauma is stopped because we talk about those issues. I have that fear. I'm coming and talking to you, Neha, that I feel scared to drive. I don't know why. Sometimes we don't know the reason because we are carrying those, right? I feel scared. So now if I talk and I work and slowly I gain the confidence and I learn cycling, then driving, I won't instill that fear onto my son or daughter. No? So that's how generationally trauma is passed on. Their fears, their shame, their projections keep onto us. It's put onto us, and we are doing. Now, we as a generation are trying to stop this intergenerational trauma.
Yeah.
Like, for example, while we were growing up, beating was normal. Getting beatings with lathi or whatever or thappar is normal. But now it is not, and it has been like put by government also, right? Because that also traumatizes and instills a lot of fear in children, and they become nervous for small things, right? We are still carrying that fear, and we are learning in therapy, but we don't want to put the same fear for our children. We loved our parents, but we loved also out of fear. And we never got the space to open up to them. Because if I say that this is what happened in school, I know first thing I'll get is a tight charter. है ना? So we lied to our parents, and that's how we became very good liars also. Because I know I won't be accepted otherwise. But these days, we are breaking that pattern. We are being friends with our children and we are giving them the space. Okay, whatever happens, you can come and tell us. Most of the women have went through so much of sexual assault. Most of them haven't opened up to their parents. They know that they will be shamed by parents first and told, you know what, the freedom will be taken away, that you will not go to school anymore, or you will not go to tuition anymore, or I will not let you go there anymore, right? Out of that fear, we never opened up. We never got that space. So slowly and gradually, those patterns we are breaking, what we did not get, we are giving to our children.
Mm. So, what can we as society do to help heal and help build a more healed environment?
I think participating in much more a space from community, developing, right? Talking more about uncomfortable topics, taboo topics. The more we talk about, the more comfortable it gets, right? And not just talking about it, doing the work. Talking is the first point, but actually, as a community, if I am participating in more healing spaces, in a group work, in group settings, I think it will be amazing that as a society, if we come to a common ground that we all need to heal and we are carrying trauma, and it is just not that, okay, I will fix myself kind of a thing. I think as a society, we will become much more better human beings and evolved human beings.
Mm. So, circling it back to your question about my
Mm.
question to you about trauma, where you mentioned about dissociation. So, what exactly happens, and while a person is dissociating, and why do they do it?
Okay, good question. Now, dissociation happens when we feel so much of pain inside us that we are tired of feeling that pain and we don't want to feel it anymore. Let's say I am going through my first breakup and there is on and off breakup, patch up, and it's so painful for me that I am feeling this pain and I start numbing my body. Okay, so that I don't want to feel, I want to block out all the emotions. Though my body wants me to feel, I'm not sitting and processing it, I'm trying to run away, right? And that is where dissociation starts. You start dissociating, you don't associate with your body anymore. And that is why I have seen so many people coming and telling me, Titir, I don't feel anything. I feel numb. Because from early age, they have started dissociating. Carrying from an example, how our parents used to slap and give us lathi and all of that, right? Now, if a child is constantly beaten, they will feel the pain, right? Now, after feeling pain for a long time, it is painful physically also and emotionally at the same time, getting beatings from parents. What happens? They start learn to dissociate, is to not feel the pain anymore, right? And that's how it starts. Now, what is happening? You're slowly blocking your body not to feel the emotions. Now, it can't happen that your body can only feel happy emotions and block out the sad emotions. No, then it will block out other emotions too, because you have learned that this is the way to best deal with this particular situation. Whenever I feel pain, I need to dissociate. I will block myself out. And that is where these days, this ghosting, this breadcrumbing, and all of these things that are happening, these are part of it, which started in childhood dissociation, not at all associating with your body, forcing yourself to feel numb so that I don't feel the pain. And I can understand that dissociation comes from so much of pain. And I think dissociation is also very much related to a little bit of addiction also. That's how people get addicted to dissociate from the pain. They get addicted to drugs, they get addicted to alcohol, they get addicted to cigarettes so that they can start going away from the pain, not to feel the pain anymore. And I wish while growing up, they were taught how to feel the pain in a healthy way, how to process sitting with their emotions rather than running away, or they would have got that support, emotional support, or a hug, right? Uh, physical has a lot of power to heal someone, physical touch, right? So if I would have got the hug, let's say from my father or my mother or my sibling when I was going through so much, I think it would have healed a part of us. But again, that is usually not, again, physical touch is not usually seen in Indian household as such, right? The physical affection of holding, hugging, kissing, as a kid it is done, but once you start growing up, it is not as such. Though I have seen in so many families there now, but it's less. So what is happening? We are growing up learning dissociating from our body. And that is why, if anything is happening, I'm shutting down, and my partner is thinking that, okay, this person is abandoning me. But it is not. I'm just dissociating myself from the pain.
So now, this brings to the last section. I wanted to know, in your opinion and experience, what does the future of mental health in our society looks like?
The future of mental health is becoming more human for therapist and client both. For therapists too. For client, of course, we give this space, but according to Western psychologists and all, it's like you are this robot who have to listen, to this person and give unconditional regard and not feel, don't express what you go through or what you feel related to the client. No, it is less focused on labeling, less focused on pathologizing also. We have started pathologizing everything to these days. I have this, I have that, I have this. So more focused on body safety, more focused on not just the mind, on the entire body. It is a holistic work, more focused on culture, identity, lived experience, and most of all, healing won't be about fixing people. Like I said, all parts of you are welcome. It will welcome you to feel safe enough to exist who you are and work on things and heal on things.
You said all parts are welcome, right? Does that
Yeah.
mean every one of us has many parts?
Yes. We have an angry part. We have a critical child, right? We have a critics inside our head. We have this moralistic part inside us who is like, no, don't do this, who battles inside, right? We have this animal instinct, like ego, super ego, right? Who's impulsive, wants to do everything. We have different parts of us. And mostly people think that in therapy, we only welcome the poised,
Yeah.
the nice part where I'll just say these are my problems and this is what I'm doing. No, I want you to get messy in therapy. I want you to cry in front of me. And I love when clients get angry in session, when they take out their anger. And, that's a beautiful rage that comes out when they were holding it for so many years, right? I love those parts of them because I want to see all of those parts. The more I see those parts, which also means they feel emotionally safe in therapy,
Mm.
which means they feel safe in their body to express.
Yeah.
Right. Usually, we don't feel safe to express. That is why we put a mask or a facade, right? But in therapy, also, if I'm putting a mask or a facade and I feel shame to cry in front of my therapist, then I need to be honest with my therapist that, you know what, I'm not comfortable. What can you do to make me comfortable?
Mm.
Right? So, yes, the more I see angrier, messy, sadness, all the other parts, I get more joy that, okay, my client is opening up finally. And I use a lot of art and
Yeah.
somatic work, which welcomes more body work. Where the anger is stored in the body, where are you carrying that rejection inside you? All parts of you are welcome.
Yeah. You said about art, right? So you also practice art-based therapy?
Yes, 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 I do.
And how does that work?
So it works really good. See, not everything can, be said in words. There's so many things that is stays inside us, right? And sometimes people might not have language for what they feel, right? Art, movement, or any creative expression allows you to come out in a more safer ways. For example, one day my client was telling that I feel very heavy. Now I told that you express that heaviness in some terms, right? And the clown said, okay, Titir, I feel heavy as if I am carrying a heavy cloud on top of my head. Right now, that made more sense to me, right? Rather than just saying I feel heavy and saying that the heaviness felt like, so like a heavy cloud which is almost about to rain. And that was wonderful. So I encourage clients to express. I give them artwork. Like right now, if I tell you, okay, close your eyes, imagine an emotion, and imagine a color associated with it. And you express the color in that pattern. You will see yourself moving freely. See, our inner child also gets a lot healed with arts and creative aspect because while growing up, we were a child, right? If I tell you to um, take a dupatta and act like a superwoman, there will be so much joy doing this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm superwoman. I'm just saying, for
Yeah.
example. Right. We have forgotten all this. The more adult we are becoming, the more, childlessness we are becoming, like we are running away. People had hobbies while growing up, cricket, sports, playing. We were so much attached to it. Now we don't have, but we know the moment I go back to my art, the moment I play badminton, the moment I play cricket, I feel like a part of childhood is there,
Yeah. Beautiful.
right? So art definitely helps in healing. Art, movement, any kind of creative space helps you to see things in different lens.
Yeah. Wow. So where can people find you?
So I have my Instagram ID, therapy by Titir. You can definitely DM me if you have any queries. And yeah, am about to start my YouTube channel. Let's say hopefully I'll do it soon. You can find me there also. And I think Neha will put my link there in the description below.
Yes, I will add all those links in the description. So it's an easy reference point for anybody who's
Yeah.
interested to find you. All right. Thank you so much for your time. And it was a great conversation, Tidil. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Neha. It was amazing conversation with you too. You ask a lot of interesting depth questions, not just surface level, like literally digging deeper, not just basics of what therapy is and how it looks like, but of care, different aspects around it, of how people think or we think, focusing on client and our well-being both at the same time. Yeah, it's beautiful.
No, thank you. Because it's important, right? Because I have
Yeah,
been there. When I was seeking therapy, I put my therapist on a pedestal and expected her to know every single thing, which is not
yeah.
possible. So,
Mm,
and then when I'm expressing to her, she's also feeling her emotions. So it's important to know that for anybody who's listening, that
mm.
there is a lot of hard work that the therapist also puts in before, during, and after the
Yes,
session. So
sessions.
uh,
True, true.
that's the
Yes,
place where
a
I come
lot.
from. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Titir, and I hope you have a great day.
Same to you too.